ever since we've been around, we've kind of measured ourselves against the animal kingdom, right? We look at their strength, their speed, their pure, raw instinct, and we're just in awe. But what really happens when you put it all to the test? When peak human achievement goes head-to-head with the absolute champions of the natural world? Well, let's find out and see who really comes out on top.
So in this explainer, we're going to break down some absolutely incredible challenges that were set up to answer that very question. We're talking everything from brute force to, creative expression. We're going to see just where humanity's ingenuity and our training can actually overcome millions of years of evolution. And believe me, the stakes are as real as they get. We're talking about these moments of just pure disbelief, where the physical limits of both man and beast are pushed to their absolute breaking point.
Yeah, we're going to see a contest of sheer vertical power. You've got a human who has practically touched the sky, going up against a predator whose leap is it's a spectacle of natural perfection.
And then we get to the ultimate race, our best engineering against pure biological acceleration. Honestly, it's a showdown that feels like it's been centuries in the making.
Okay, so first up is a test of pure, raw power. This isn't about fancy techniques or anything like that. This is a primal contest of who can pull harder. It's about who commands more respect through sheer force alone. So on one side of the rope, you've got Brian Shaw. This is a man so strong, he can pull an actual airplane. And on the other side, a 500-pound lion, a creature whose power is just legendary. Now, the contest seems pretty straightforward, but the physics of it are anything but. And what's so wild is that at first, it's a complete stalemate. Brian, who is at the absolute peak of human strength, is just completely held in check. And the lion, it doesn't even look like it's straining. It's this incredible visual of just how immense animal power is. As Brian starts to really struggle, you can see a strategy emerge. He's got to try and wear the lion out. But then, the tide starts to turn. Through just sheer grit and human endurance, Brian begins to gain ground. See, he doesn't overpower the lion's initial explosive burst of strength, but he outlasts its instinctual force. It's a huge victory for human strategy and stamina over that raw animal power. So, okay, human endurance won the physical test. But what about a psychological one? Let's switch gears to a totally different kind of challenge, where the prize isn't a victory, it's just survival. A contestant is given a choice. He has to survive 1 minute in a ring with either a 500-pound professional sumo wrestler or a grizzly bear. Now, on paper, the weights are pretty comparable, but the threat level, they are worlds apart. One is a highly trained human athlete. The other is an absolutely untamable force of nature. And the decision is instant. He doesn't even hesitate for a second. The pure idea of facing the bear is just too much. So in this psychological contest, the bear wins without even stepping into the ring. And that's the real takeaway here. The potential of an animal's power can be way more decisive than any physical contest could ever be. All right, let's shift gears again. We're moving away from pure strength and into the world of agility and just blistering, incredible speed. First up, the high jump. We've got a majestic tiger named Luna, and she's lured by some bait. And she just effortlessly clears 10 feet and 9 inches. It's an incredible display of natural, explosive power. I mean, that sets a very high bar. But then, it's the human's turn. And Darius, who is the highest vertical leaper on the entire planet, isn't just trying to beat the tiger, he's actually aiming to beat his own Guinness World Record. And guess what? He does it. He clears 12 feet 3 inches. He doesn't just win the challenge, he sets a brand new benchmark for human potential. What a stunning victory for specialized training. So we've gone from vertical leaps to horizontal velocity. Now we have to face the fastest land animal on Earth, the cheetah. Its acceleration is an evolutionary marvel. It's the stuff of legends. So, can anything we've made actually keep up? So the first attempt is with a golf cart, and it's a joke. The cheetah leaves it in the dust. Then they try a minivan. Even with the pedal floored, it's just no match for that animal's explosive start. This really shows you the massive gap between our everyday tech and nature's perfection. It takes a Formula E race car, a true marvel of modern engineering, to finally win the race. Okay, so we've seen strength, we've seen speed, but now the contests are pivoting to a totally different battlefield, the mind.
These next challenges are all about human intellect and creativity going head-to-head with pure animal instinct. We're about to see how human cleverness stacks up against innate talent and superior senses. All right, this one is pretty unique. It's a paint-off between comedian Trevor Wallace and a painting elephant named Isla. Trevor tries to paint a school, but his work gets judged as a 2 out of 10. The judge literally called it adolescent. Isla, on the other hand, just paints with her trunk, motivated by some tasty snacks, and her abstract piece gets called joyful and honest. She gets an 8 out of 10, a clear win for animal artistry. Next up, a really high-stakes game of hide-and-seek. A group of elite soldiers has to evade one of the best search dogs on the planet in a massive junkyard all night long, and their strategies are just brilliant. One soldier tries to mask his scent by staying in a river. Another creates a false trail with a Red Bull can he found. A third climbs 50 feet up the only tree in the whole area, betting the dog's nose won't pick up the scent that high. And you know what? It works. While the dog does find several of the soldiers, 2 of them use all their training and ingenuity to stay hidden until the sun comes up. It's a really hard-fought victory for human strategy, planning, and understanding instinct, which allowed them to outwit a creature with just vastly superior senses. So after all of these battles, strength, speed, art, strategy, what's the final score? Who ultimately proved to be more capable in these really specific, extraordinary circumstances? Well, the final scorecard shows man with 5 wins and animal with 2. It seems that across all these different challenges, human specialization, our endurance, and our intellect ultimately carried the day. But, winning these little games feels a lot different when you start to look at the bigger picture. This quote from the source material is a really powerful reminder. While we're celebrating outracing a cheetah with a Formula E car, we also have to acknowledge the very real-world consequences of our own technological dominance. And that leaves us with a final, really crucial question. It's one thing to win a race or a game, right? It's a totally different thing to be a good steward of the planet. As we keep proving that we can overcome the natural world, the real challenge isn't about winning anymore. It's about protecting. And maybe the ultimate contest isn't man versus animal at all, but humanity versus its own impact.